I have been looking forward to this show for a while now, and finally, Apple TV released its first 2 episodes. Even though I found the pace of the first episode to be slow, it picked up towards the end and continued with the same momentum in episode 2. I thoroughly enjoyed the episodes as well as Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, but of course, as many of you, I have lots of questions. Who killed Carolyn? Is Rusty innocent? Was it his wife? Did any of these guys have anything to do with the murder? And what does Liam Reynolds have to do with Carolyn's case? Who sent this message? Let's talk about these points together. I have a few theories. I will share them with you. I would like to have a discussion in the comments. Let's go. What do we know? I don't like doing recaps, so if you came here for one, that's too bad. I want to discuss all the things we know about Carolyn's case. Maybe we can do an analysis based on that info. 1. There were no signs of struggle or break-in, meaning Carolyn most likely knew the killer. Since this is a procedural and we've already watched 2 episodes, the killer must be someone we already saw on the screen. Everyone presumes Rusty is guilty of the murder, and this will continue until the end. And although I enjoy questioning whether or not Rusty really did it, it wouldn't be that big of a twist to show that he was the killer. In my opinion, it has to be someone else. 2. A witness saw Rusty at the scene. Yeah, at the end of the second episode, Rusty gets a text message from an unknown number that says, "You were there, I saw you." Now, we don't know if this person is telling the truth, but if we assume that they are, Rusty being there on the day of the murder is not a good look for him. So he went there maybe to get her back since she had broken off their relationship. He admitted to being obsessed with her, sending her emails and calling her a lot, so his going to her house was not a big surprise. Maybe he went there and they had sex again, but he left without harming her. Looking at it from a different perspective, if Rusty isn't the killer, which I think he's not, then someone must have killed Carolyn right after he saw her. Maybe someone followed Rusty that day and figured the blame would fall on him. But this suggests that the killer knew Rusty as well, so it's either someone from the office like Tommy, Della, or Raymond, the last one is quite unlikely, or Rusty's wife. I mean, she did say she would fight to preserve what they have with Rusty and their family, but would that go as far as to kill the woman your husband has been sleeping with?
And I will fight to save what we have because we've got a lot.
It's very possible, but let's keep our options open for now. 3. Rusty doesn't know Carolyn that well. I think this is quite important. Even though they had worked together for years and had an affair, Rusty never knew that Carolyn had a son, which then begs the question, what other things Rusty might not know about? Perhaps Carolyn had an affair with someone else as well. I even think it could be Tommy or Della. Tommy seems to be bent on getting Rusty and putting him behind bars, and Della also warns him not to be too emotional, which tells me Tommy also has some things to hide, which could be a relationship with Carolyn. The reason for his anger could be this as well. Tommy had a relationship with Carolyn perhaps, but just found out that she also had an affair with Rusty. That would explain Tommy's anger and desire for revenge. It seemed beyond being competitive in my opinion. 4. Carpet fibers were found at the murder scene. In episode 1, Rusty said that they had found minute fibers of carpeting that were not found in Carolyn's apartment, and the color is called Scottish malt.
On Carolyn's clothes and body, there were minute fibers of a carpeting that were not found in her apartment. They were synthetic, milled domestically. The color is called Scottish malt and dye.
Now, after hearing this, I tried to go back and look at all the scenes in the Savage household, but in none of them I could see the carpeting. Was this done deliberately or did I miss something? I feel like they will find the exact matching carpeting in Rusty's house, which will be another piece of evidence pointing him out, but it could also be his wife, remember? 5. The murder weapon is a fire poker and it's missing. So either the murderer took it with them and is still keeping it, or they dropped it somewhere and it will be found later. The fact that it's something from Carolyn's house indicates that the murder was not pre-planned. Like Rigo said as well, the murder was not meticulous. The tying up part was done meticulously, but the killing itself happened quickly.
Wasn't planned.
It just happened. It was meticulous.
No, she was tied up meticulous.
Bunny Davis case. I love legal dramas where one case is intertwined with another. This is the case for presumed innocent. Apparently, there was a young woman named Bunny Davis who was drugged and raped, hogtied, and murdered with a knife at her heart. Rusty and Carolyn were working on this case together as prosecutors, and they helped put Liam Reynolds behind bars for the crime. But Rusty just learned in episode 2 that another man's sperm was found in the exterior of Bunny Davis's vagina, but the results were inconclusive, which means there could have been a second suspect who might have killed Bunny, but they are free outside and Liam Reynolds is wrongfully convicted. The weird thing here is that Carolyn knew about this second sperm sample, but she blamed Liam Reynolds anyway. Does this show her ambition, the fact that she wants to put someone behind bars no matter whether they are guilty or not? Or did she know the second person involved in the case and decided to ignore it knowingly? I personally feel like we will learn more about Carolyn and some of the secrets she had been keeping. It does seem like the Bunny Davis case is related to Carolyn's murder, especially with the way she's hogtied, but I am not sure to what extent. I am open to hearing your theories on this one. Review. Jake Gyllenhaal is the perfect choice for the lead character in this. He does seem like the kind of guy who would murder his affair partner, but also someone who looks quite innocent. I enjoyed his performance in the first 2 episodes. I'm sure he will keep up the good work. Personally, I don't understand why the show is called Presumed Innocent, since the main character is presumed guilty from the end of the first episode. Is the murderer going to end up being someone we never would have guessed? Will it be someone who we thought would be innocent in all this? I think this is most likely. The show's overall atmosphere is a bit dark for me in the sense that the color brown is overwhelming, especially in the Savage household. I'm not a big fan of that, but in the end, this is quite an engaging drama with good actors. The story is picking up its pace as well. It's getting interesting with each episode. My rate for episode 1 would be 6 out of 10. It's not crazy. I wouldn't recommend it to my boyfriend, even though he's a lawyer and likes these kinds of shows. And for episode 2, I would go with 6.8. Slightly better than episode 1, but still not recommendation material. If an episode gets a rating above 8, I'm telling my boyfriend about it. I have just started this rating method. I am thinking of applying this to other shows as well. You can share your ratings with me in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.